One nuclear weapon.
Outgoing Nigerian ambassador to Algeria calls for sustained ties with the North African country. ECOWAS condemns Sierra Leone's violence as curfew is imposed. These are some major highlights we have for you on the program this week. Do stay tuned for more as we take you around the globe on the program Global Update. And I am Patricia Asamiluba. I'll be back in a moment. Let's start the trip from Nigeria, where the outgoing Nigerian ambassador to Algeria, Ambassador Mohamed Madul, urged for a sustained ties with Algeria. The ambassador also gave an update on the ongoing Trans-Sahara Pipeline project and Trans-Sahara Highway, among others.
One of the things I met that was still unresolved was the issue of diplomatic and service passports, that is official passports. There was an ongoing negotiation about it so that the two countries we are supposed to sign non-visa agreement. I was able to push it and we succeeded. So as I speak to you now, if you travel to Algeria with a diplomatic or official passport, you don't need visa. You just travel straight and they will stamp you in. And the same thing with Algerian officials when they come to Nigeria on official duties. It applies to them this way. So I see this as one of my modest achievements which I was able to push through. And secondly, I also made a lot of effort to see that we achieve air connection between Nigeria and Algeria, because what happened now is if you intend to travel to Algeria now, there are two major airlines that will take you to Algeria. You either use Turkish Airline or Qatar Airways. If you use Turkish Airline, you will fly 6 hours to Istanbul and then connect Algiers 3 hours, making a total of 9 hours. If you go through Qatar, Doha, you fly 6 hours to Doha and another 6 hours to Algiers, making a total of 12 hours. So you can see that it is quite stressful for somebody to travel there. And so when I arrive there, I keep pressurizing the Algeria airline for them to, already we have signed bilateral air service agreement. So what is required now is for pressure to be mounted, which I did. I did continuously until 2 months ago. My last meeting with the general manager of Air Algeria, he told me that they have approved 11 new routes this year, and Nigeria is one of them. The issue of gas, as it is now, is the energy of the future. And now we have seen the practical crisis of it on ground with the Russia-Ukraine war. A lot of Nigeria and Algeria, we share the same thing. We are dependent on oil and gas. And so most of the European countries, they have agreements with Algeria already about supplies, which are still pending. Some of them will last up to 2025. So, but because of the low supply of gas, they now individually started coming to Algeria to negotiate for increase. Italians came, other countries, I think Spain also came, and they have been trying to see how they can increase, but they are, the immediate increase they can have is not so much, because the problem with Algerian gas is that they have all the facility for the gas. The gas has been piped. They have a length of over 2,000 kilometers of pipeline within the country for the supply of gas. And also, they have what they call med gas. That is the pipeline that pass through the Algerian territory through the Mediterranean Sea to Europe. So they pump their gas for export through that network. But the problem they have is that the gas they have on ground cannot meet the demand, the high demand. And that is what now informed the issue of Trans-Saharan gas pipeline. They want Nigeria to connect their own, the gas pipeline, the gas network through Nigeria, passing through Niger to Algeria. The main place that this gas facility are is called Hassaram. It's a gas field, one of the largest gas field in the world. So they want this network to connect with them, and that is what is called a Trans-Saharan gas pipeline. So that when we connect this facility to Algeria, they will now market the gas on behalf of Nigeria, and then Nigeria will collect the returns for our gas, which, if you look at it from all purpose, they are a gas producing country like us. They have the facilities on ground. We don't need to do any new facility to Europe, only to connect. And also we are members of OPEC, and we are very friendly with Algeria. So it is a win-win situation for Nigeria to benefit. And the cost for the project is $13 billion. The network of the pipeline is over 4,000 kilometers. So the process has been on since the 70s. It's actually not a new project, but because of the, what do you call, the political will was not strong, the project goes on and off, on and off. But now they have now seen the necessity for this project to be reinvigorated, and the process has started. Last month, the Minister of Energy and that of Nigeria and that of Algeria, they have met to find resources so that this gas pipeline will be completed within a short time. Apart from the Trans-Saharan gas pipeline, there is another project which binds the three countries together, Trans-Saharan Highway Project. This one, about 6 countries are involved. We have Algeria, we have Niger, we have Mali, we have Chad, we have Tunisia, and then Nigeria. Now, the intention of this project is that in Africa, there has been an agreement that all the zones within Africa should develop road network so that there will be commercial exchanges in terms of trade and investments, so that the economy will boost in those areas. And that also led to the creation of a free trade zone in various sections of Africa. So the Trans-Saharan Highway is the link from Algeria going through Niger and diverting to Mali and Chad, also connecting through Tunisia, and then going to Lagos. So the project is also going through a network of over 4,000 road network. And the important thing about this is that 90% of this road has been achieved. So the Nigerian section of this road has been completed. The Algerian section has been completed. Those that are left now are mainly Chad, Niger, and Mali, that they have only few kilometers left now to be completed.
Staying on bilateral ties ahead of the 77th independence of the Republic of Indonesia, the Indonesian ambassador to Nigeria is advocating increased cooperation between both countries. Completing a mosque in Kurudu, Abuja, is one of his gestures to increase cooperation with the local community.
It is his 62nd birthday anniversary, and for the ambassador, we are better to celebrate the day than with the people of his host community.
هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة.
This mosque is meeting Miss Bahulim School's Kurudu at their points of need, a perfect gift from the Indonesian ambassador.
For more than 3 years now, we have actually been managing a place for 5 daily prayers. So it means it will serve that purpose, our 5 daily prayers. Then the school has a section for recitation of the Quran. So it means we are moving those students to this place. Thirdly, we have some programs, monthly and weekly programs, which actually should be held in the masjid. So it means we have a mosque to serve the purpose for now.
For the ambassador, strengthening diplomatic ties will be mutually beneficial for both countries.
So I think it's a good point for us to strengthen our relationship, our diplomatic relationship between Indonesia and Nigeria. I went here for charity because I got information they have memorizing Al-Quran school here in Nigeria. As a Muslim, I'm very interested to see and bring some charity to share our happiness here. So it's with the time being, it's time for Duhur pray. So I asked the Ustad here, the leader here, to pray Duhur. So finally, they show me the site of the school, a place of the pray, because they don't have a place of prayer. So that is why some of them request to us to need help to pray the most. So as a Muslim, I really what we call it enthusiast and have motivation to contribute what all I have from God, from Allah, because I have a lot of risky. Allah has given to me a lot of things, so I think it's much better for me and my family, especially my wife. We agree that half of our what we call property we share to build the mosque.
And as we move on to Sierra Leone, the West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, condemned the recent violence in the country that led to deaths and imposition of curfew. Some protesters and security personnel were also reportedly killed during the third day of the three-day protest.
West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, has condemned the recent violence in Sierra Leone that has led to deaths and the imposition of a curfew. Some protesters and policemen have reportedly been killed during the third day of a three-day protest. The protest was organized by opposition parties and civil society groups over alleged economic hardships and bad governance by the present administration. The protesters, mainly youths, gained entry into the country's Longay airport after the military and police unsuccessfully tried to stop them. In a statement, ECOWAS said it strongly condemns the violence that occurred in many locations in Sierra Leone and have led to loss of lives. ECOWAS called on all to obey law and order and for the perpetrators of the violence to be identified and brought to justice in accordance with the law. The president has been out of the country with his family, leaving Vice President Mohamed Jallo in charge. In a short state broadcast, the Vice President announced the imposition of an indefinite nationwide curfew from 3 p.m. local time on Wednesday. He accused the protesters of destroying and burning down government property, including police facilities, warning that security forces had been authorized to deal squarely with lawbreakers. Internet connection has now been restored in the nation's capital, Freetown, after disruption.
A break is up next. Not to worry, when we return, we shall beam our searchlight on the Russian-Ukraine conflict. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and if you just tuned in, the program is Global Update. This is the program that brings you up to speed with world events in the week under review. Now to Russia-Ukraine conflict. In recent days, Ukraine and Russia have accused each other of shelling the nuclear power plant in the south of the country. Also in the south, Ukraine has been trying to take back territory using new long-range artillery to target bridges across the river.
This is the second time in 6 months Irina and Victor's home has been blighted by Russian shelling.
This is where the light fixture, the round light, collapsed and fell.
Irina has lived here since she was 7. The damaged curtains were her mother's. 5 families live in this Hutong-style traditional community built before the 1917 Russian Revolution. Residents say rain comes through their blast-damaged roofs and mangled door locks don't function. Officials are telling them to go.
The distance to the front line is too short for properly managing reaction time. Quite often the air raid sirens go on just as the first explosions are happening.
Recommendations are simple, but reality isn't. Where are we going to live? The fields? People here ask. As Russian missile and artillery strikes hit Mykolaiev's civilian centers every day, all day, it's up to the individual to stay safe. This underground shelter has sturdy concrete walls, multiple chambers, and 3 exits in case 1 or 2 get blocked by blast rubble. It's wired for electricity and, as of this week, internet. A few dozen people at most could crowd into this space. Definitely not 2,500. Irina and Victor's closest bomb shelter is a kilometer away. Their only option, stay put and hope for no more blasts.
The Chinese military said it has completed its exercises around Taiwan, but will regularly conduct patrols and drills in the area. Recall that Beijing claims Taiwan as its territory and threatens to take it by force if the island resists unification indefinitely.
Over the past few days, the PLA Navy, Air Force, Rocket Force, Strategic Support Force, and Joint Logistics Support Force have been working together around Taiwan Island, conducting high-intensity, systematic, and joint training exercises in both air and at sea. The focus has been on air control operations, joint anti-submarine operations, and joint support, with consistent combat training and systematic use of troops. Chinese military says the exercises have been a great test of its combat readiness.
东部战区 The PLA Theatre Command will keep a close eye on the changing situation in the Taiwan Strait, carry out training and war preparations, regularly organize combat readiness police patrols across the Taiwan Strait, and resolutely safeguard national sovereignty and territorial integrity.
The Air Force deployed multiple types of warplanes, including early warning aircraft, bombers, jamming aircraft, fighter bombers, and fighter jets. Their missions included airspace control operations, strikes on ground targets, and air support and cover. The airstrike forces, together with long-range multiple-launch rocket systems and conventional missile troops, conducted drills of joint precision strikes on targets. In addition, multiple bomber formations flew over the Taiwan Strait, while several fighter jets conducted joint drills with the destroyers and frigates. Authorities said the operation tested the tactics of systems warfare under information-based conditions, while it also improved capabilities to destroy crucial island targets with precision strikes. Some new equipment was also on display, including stealth fighters, box rocket launchers, and oil transporters.
To the United Kingdom now, temperatures are set to soar higher as another heatwave grips the European country. Just last month, the first red extreme heat warning was issued in the UK during European heat updates.
Many people are taking advantage of these long, hot spells to head to the beach and make the most of the sunshine. But the prolonged dry spell has left many reservoirs running dangerously low. According to the Environment Agency, we've not yet officially entered a drought, but some emergency measures are starting to be enforced. The first ban on people using hosepipes to water their gardens came into force on Monday for parts of the southeast, with others due to take effect later this week.
Well, garden's brown, but no, we've been using some water in paddling pools, reusing it where we can to make sure that we're not wasting the water. Hosepipe ban is inevitable. I thought it would be here sooner.
We're trying to be a little bit more conscious with our water consumption, just because we do notice that, you know, it's London and it hasn't rained in 3 months, and that feels weird.
In a bid to avoid more wildfires, people are being urged not to use barbecues, even in urban areas. And looking at the weather forecast, there's no sign of any rain in the near future, and temperatures are set to rise with a new heat wave forecast for the coming days.
Staying on changing weather patterns around the world, historic rainfall have turned roads into rivers and left 8 dead in Seoul, South Korea. Landslide warnings have been issued in nearly 50 cities and towns, while hiking paths and mountainous Gangwon province is closed.
Across the South Korean capital, Seoul, the surrounding Gyeonggi province and the port city of Incheon, people are using a brief respite in the rain to clean up and assess the damage after a record downpour of around 100 millimeters per hour covered this region overnight.
Residents here have only just managed to bring fuel for these pumps.
The underground level is full of water. The shopping mall also has water from the bottom to the ceiling.
These are just some of the scenes caused by rain levels not witnessed in Korea for 80 years.
In total, about 420 millimeters of rain fell across these regions, completely submerging some of the roads in the city, including vehicles that were unfortunate enough to be on it at the time.
Many people were forced to seek shelter in schools and other public places. At least 8 rail lines were flooded and about 80 sections of the country's roads blocked for people's safety, leading to heavy congestion on those that remained open. The downpour also led to the closure of national parks and hiking trails along the Han River, where water levels have in many areas risen beyond the treetop.
And that concludes this edition of the program Global Update. COVID-19 is still very much around, so continue to observe all safety protocols against the coronavirus pandemic. I am Patricia Asamiluba. Thanks for watching. God bless our nation as we work towards unity of purpose.